The education we receive in America serves as the basis of our intellect. Within this education, we have to balance between draining coursework along with our social and personal lives, which leaves us little room to truly clarify what we mentally consume. The cycle of cramming material has created a society that forgets to perceive before we receive information. Being able to process information sufficiently in order to question its authenticity is a skill set that has almost become extinct with the downfall of education and the rise of the internet. We live in a world where the abilities to email, tweet, and share a post overshadow the skills needed to verify the sources in which our information is given. During a time in history where fake news is a real thing, it's time to educate ourselves on what fake news can look like. What is fake news? Fake news consists of fabricated accounts of information that are portrayed as genuine forms of media. Fake news can be categorized under misinformation and disinformation. The two most common types are false connection and manipulated content. Ever been lured in by clickbait? If yes, then you have been lured in by the false connection type of fake news. This type of fake news occurs when headlines don't match visuals or written content. The second most common type of fake news is manipulated content, which is genuine information exploited to mislead the viewer. If we each kept in mind these types of misinformation and disinformation while posting and sharing on the internet, we could revolutionize the way our timelines look while fighting back against the press predators that create these fabrications. Understanding that we need to utilize our education as a tool to teach each other how to seek out authentic information is not a modern topic. Nearly 71 years ago, Martin Luther King Jr. wrote a short essay called The Purpose of Education that still reigns true today. He wrote,
"To think incisively and to think for oneself is very difficult. We are prone to let our mental life become invaded by legions of half-truths, prejudices, and propaganda. At this point, I often wonder whether or not education is fulfilling its purpose. A great majority of so-called educated people do not think logically and scientifically. Even the press, the classroom, the platform, and the pulpit in many instances do not give us objective and unbiased truths. Education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the true from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from the fiction. The function of education, therefore, is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. But education which stops with efficiency may prove to be the greatest menace to society."
At the young age of 17, Martin Luther King Jr. understood that there would come a day when the future of America could be altered by an education that teaches us to think critically for the sake of tests and not for the sake of finding the truth in everything that immerses us on a daily basis. The internet is only advancing, so the need is clearer than ever to educate ourselves and become more aware about the validity of the posts we share each day. How will you go about sharing posts in the future?